Good choice. You'll meet Buddy Odour in this lab, and he's the guru of sweat. Yesterday he told me your body cells work best when your body temperature is 98.6 degrees. Your body works really hard to stay at this temperature, sweating if you get too hot, shivering if you get too cold. Make sure to bring a change of t-shirts, and I'll see you at the lab. Check this out, all you smelly sock-sniffing fans. We have a very special guest with us today, my old pal, Buddy Odour. He was my one-time co-worker, roommate, and best little buddy when we both used to work down at the Corning Pacific Deodorant Refinery. Ah, yes, it takes me back to my youth as a professional shoe and underarm sniffer. I remember all the experiments on BO, all the labs dedicated to the study of smelly feet, all the papers I wrote on sweat, all the funky shoes and the smelly gross people I had to sniff, all those endless stinking armpits that had to be treated with the company's lame deodorant roll-on, then sniffed by me and Buddy. Oh my goodness! And then there were all the explosions, all the toxic waste spills, all the fires. And then that awful day when Buddy was helping me sniff this really gross lady's armpits for a product study, he slipped on a deodorant bar, slid across the floor, ricocheted off a forklift, straight through a retaining wall, fell down 4 stories of steps, into a room full of empty boxes. He stumbled with a box on his head into another room, tripped and landed in a huge vat of liquid deodorant roll-on. Formula number 99. It took us 3 days to get him out, and he was never quite the same since. Of course, he blames the accident on me, as if I dropped the deodorant bar on the floor that he slipped on. Oh, wait, I did. Anyway, Buddy went on to become one of the greatest scientific minds in the field of sweat, BO, and smelly feet. He doesn't get many dates, but his mother's proud of him anyway. Buddy, come on in here! So, Buddy's going to give us all some really cool facts about sweat, BO, and smelly feet. To hear more, just give him a nudge. Back here is a cool model that you can check out. When you're ready for a closer look at Buddy, just click the brain icon on the chalkboard. In the meantime, don't forget to keep your gas mask handy. I'll see you back at the main hall.
Buddy Odour here. Before I came to these hallowed halls of Grossology, I was a professional deodorant tester and armpit sniffer. Well, those days are over, but I learned a lot. Like Americans spend over $540 million each year trying to get rid of body odor. Give me a nudge and I'll tell you more about BO. Smelly sweat comes from sweat glands located mostly in the armpits, but also in the crotch area, anus, and your scalp. Give me a nudge and I'll tell you more about BO. Listen to this. Adult sweat is sticky, milky, and gluey-like and dribbles in little beads from their pores. This sweat doesn't really smell bad until bacteria munch on it. To get rid of the smell, adults use deodorants that contain chemicals that poison the stink-making bacteria. Want to hear about smelly feet? Give me a nudge. After many experiments on smelly feet, Ginger and I discovered that if humans wore only sandals, or no shoes at all, their feet would not stink. The real stench culprit is shoes and socks, because when you wear them, your feet must wade in the sweat waste that your feet produce. Give me a nudge, and I'll let you in on some even cooler stuff I know about smelly feet. Here's something that will blow your mind. The type of sweat made by your feet doesn't stink. It's the bacteria and fungus munching on the dead skin cells in the sweat that gives your feet that all-too-familiar nasty smell. Give me a nudge and I'll tell you all about sweat. From my long years of study in this field, I have found that more than half of an adult's weight is actually water. About 60% to be exact. That's why I guzzle plenty of water each day. Give me a nudge, and I'll let you in on some even cooler stuff I know. Oh, sorry, just a little preoccupied there. Actually, I was just remembering some stinky experiments I did with Ginger. Did you ever see anyone sweat a whole bunch after biting into a super hot chili pepper? This might be because the messages sent to the brain get confused or overcharged, so the sweat glands and the salivary glands are triggered. Never volunteer for a super hot chili pepper experiment like I did. Ow. It still hurts to think of it. Give me a nudge and I'll let you in on some other experiments I was in. Did Ginger tell you about our smelly feet experiment? Try this. If your brother or sister has really, really stinky feet, you know they do, suggest that they put antiperspirant on their feet. Or if they're bigger than you and they may clobber you for being so bold, a gas mask might be the answer to your problem. Give me a nudge and I'll let you in on some other experiments I was in. Ginger and I discovered through many experiments on me that if you were to cover your entire body in paint, you can't sweat, so you could overheat and possibly die. Thank goodness for emergency rooms and paint thinner. So sweating helps to keep you alive and kicking. Give me a nudge and I'll let you in on some other experiments I was involved in. I had to do this sniff test experiment on Ginger, and I found out that roll-on antiperspirants work on about 40% of the sweat glands that you put them on. Spray-on antiperspirants only hold back about 20% of the sweat glands. Phew! I was so glad when that test was over. Give me a nudge and I'll let you in on some other experiments I was involved in. I have found through careful experimentation that your sweat is about 2% salt. Seawater is about 3% salt. That's why salt water can't help you to quench your thirst. Water, water everywhere and not a drop to drink. Give me a nudge and I'll tell you more. Ginger won't use deodorants because they contain the metal aluminum. Instead, she uses talcum and baking soda to keep dry and less stinky. Give me a nudge. I've got more to say about Ginger. Some people say that women don't sweat, they perspire. Yeah, right, they never met Ginger Vitis then. Give me a nudge. I've got more to say about Ginger. Some people like Ginger can't stop sweating. The only solution for these people is to have some of their sweat glands removed. Gross. Give me a nudge. I've got lots more cool stuff to tell you. Are those my feet that smell so bad? And people who wear all leather or all rubber tennis shoes are more likely to have stinky feet than people who wear the same types of shoes but with natural fibers, mesh, or breathable uppers. Do you know how many feet I had to smell to complete that experiment? Give me a nudge, and I'll let you in on some other cool facts. Sometimes dried sweat can form a white ring around the armpit area of a shirt or a dress. The white ring is actually the sweat salt that is left behind. Next time you see Ginger, be sure to look for this. Give me a nudge, and I'll let you in on some other cool facts. After Ginger went to see the doctor about her sweating problem, she told me that people who sweat a huge amount have a medical condition known as hyperhidrosis. Give me a nudge, and I'll let you in on some other cool facts. Just so you know, an antiperspirant and a deodorant are different. An antiperspirant stops sweat from coming out of the pores by blocking the little sweat tubes. Deodorants work to stop smell by poisoning the bacteria that live on our skin or by covering up the smell. If you want to hear more, just give me a nudge. Buddy Odour here. Before I came to these hallowed halls of Grossology, I was a professional deodorant tester and armpit sniffer. Well, those days are over, but I learned a lot. Like Americans spend over Ceruminous gland. A special sweat gland found in the outer ear which secretes cerumen, your basic earwax. Apocrine glands. Sweat glands in the skin that don't work until puberty and are not controlled by the nervous system. Found in the armpit and crotch, these glands secrete milky sweat that can stink if bacteria feasts on it. Sweat, also known as perspiration, a mixture of water, salts, acids, urea, and other stuff ejected by the sweat glands to control body temperature and get rid of wastes.
Well now, as a man of the cloth, I cannot tell a lie. Yes, I have been known to, perspire a bit on a hot day, you know.
Apocrine Sweat duct. Narrow tube through which milky sweat secreted by the apocrine glands travels to the hair follicle and out through the pore. Apocrine glands. Sweat glands found in the skin all over the body, except the lips and some parts of the genitals. These glands secrete non-smelly sweat and are controlled by the nervous system. Apocrine sweat duct. Narrow tube which carries non-smelly sweat from the apocrine glands to a sweat pore on the surface of the skin.
Dude, like, I love to sweat, you know? Then, when I get home, I sniff my sweaty shirt and socks and stuff. Whoa, it's like such a rush.
Pores. Tiny little holes in your skin that pour out sweat from the apocrine glands or oil from the sebaceous glands. If you look closely, you can see them. Capillaries. Incredibly tiny blood vessels that are so small that only one blood cell can pass through at a time. Blood vessel. The blood pipeline that carries yummy blood to nourish the deep living layer of your skin, also called the dermis.
Like, I do not sweat. That would be like so grody. Like sweating all over my Gucci bag? Like, I don't think so.
Fungi. Little creatures such as yeast or mold that make spores. Fungi can live on the human body harmlessly, but some cause infections like athlete's foot, which is a fungal infection of the toes and feet. Bacteria. Tiny single-celled creatures that sway, roll, bounce, swim, frolic, eat, and reproduce all over your body.
Guess what? It's time to challenge that raging big brain of yours to see if you still got it or you ain't never really had it. So, if you're ready to get an official certificate as a registered sniffologist with a professionally sanctioned and licensed undergraduate degree in stinkology, then go to the barf bag now and click on the barf splat that says, "Certify me!"
Sweat is a gross thing, but a cool gross thing. There's so many cool things, like even when you sweat a whole bunch, all of your sweat glands don't squirt at the same time.
Hello out there! I'm Ricardo Lardo, America's best smelling game show host, and you've tuned into Something Special in the Air, where we test your knowledge of really stinky stuff. Okay, we have one olfactory challenge contestant here with us today, and this contestant, folks, came to win some really big cash money, the Big Moolah! Contestant number 1! The object of this game is to select a cube and then find its match. If you're successful, you'll get a shot at the Questionator, where you'll answer disgusting questions about sweat and BO. That's body odor. For the BB, that's big bucks. Are you ready? Then let's play. Contestant number 1, you're up. No match! Ha ha! I don't think so. Contestant number 1, you're up! Woo! It's a match! What time is it? It's Questionator time! And now for a $5 question. Good job, contestant number 1. It's a match. What time is it? It's Questionator time. Oh my goodness, you've just hit the play of the day. Okay, audience, quiet, please. This question is worth $75. Good luck. Nervous? Contestant number 1 scores. No match. Ooh, that had to hurt. Contestant number 1, your move. Oh, no. No match. Ha ha. I don't think so. Contestant number 1. Woo! It's a match, as if there were any doubts. And now for a $5 question. Contestant number 1, you get the money! No match! Sorry, no match. It's a match! Good job! Bring on the Questionator! And now for a $5 question. Yikes! Contestant number 1, El Wrongo! And we just take back some cash now. Sorry. And the correct answer is A. No match! It's a match, and away we go. Okay, for $10. Contestant number 1 scores. Sorry. It's a match, as if there were any doubts. Okay, for $10. Contestant number 1 scores. Oh, it's a match, and away we go. And now for a $5 question. Good job, contestant number 1. Woo! Woo! It's a match! Make ready for the Questionator! Okay, for $10. Good job, contestant number 1. No It's a match! And here comes the Questionator! And now for a $5 question. Contestant number 1 scores. It's a match, and away we go. Okay, for $10. Contestant number 1, you get the money! And that's the end of this round, which goes to contestant number 1. To start another round, just click the flashing button now.
Smelly sweat comes from sweat.
Wow, I worked up a sweat just thinking about that lab and all that sweat and BO. Did you know the non-sticky sweat your body pours out is not just for staying cool? The little bit of sweat on your palms and your fingers help you to grip objects too.